All right, I'm going to try this again because apparently I didn't add myself to this thing and I didn't even bring a second thing out here to check. So I didn't even know that I wasn't even making any noise. Uh, anyway, this is going to be a shit show anyway. I don't know how well it's going to go. Basically, this is on the Review Journal's website and it's kind of being a pain in the ass right now. I don't know why. Doesn't want to rewind. Huh. That's weird. That's weird. Let's see where it starts. Very much appreciate you guys helping. Okay. Yeah, it starts at nowhere anyway. But anyway, yeah, so this is round 2 of this, man. I forgot to put myself in the last stream. So I wasn't talking. So here we go. Let's make this bigger. That's what they always say. So basically, like I said, this is gonna be a shit show because this the audio in this is terrible. I can barely hear it through my headphones, so I know, and it won't go up any louder. The closed captioning doesn't work, so it's a mess. It's a shitty website. But there was some interesting information that came out of this, I guess, and so I'm just gonna play it, and I'll try to articulate what they're saying as they're saying it, because again, this audio is really quiet. I have a hard time hearing it. So they start with like, and it doesn't really matter. This is minutia, but the whoever was working on this probate case for Paddock, nice Starbucks there, by the way, is deceased, I guess, and this lady lawyer took over, I guess.
Your Honor, briefly, we would like to, this case has endured for over 6 years, and we would like to briefly go through the court what we, together with Administrator LVRJ, have accomplished over those past 6 years. First of all, we were able to persuade Irene Hunt, the mother of Stephen Paddock, to assign her inheritance to the families, to the estates of the victims who died as a result of the.
Okay, so it starts with I think she said Irene Paddock, Paddock's mother, um, basically saying they got her to give up her claim on the estate, so all that money goes to the victims. Right, that's where we start with
The shooting. Secondly, Mr. Burge and our firm was able to identify and take possession of $1.3 million worth of assets.
So you got, God, why am I hearing a noise in the background? They got $1.3 million worth of assets off of this. She's going to break it down right now, shortly. It's not much.
We were successful in selling 2 residential properties and a parcel of real property.
So, sold 2 residential properties, guess in Mesquite, Reno, and then I think she's saying 1 partial rental property or something like that.
We were able to persuade creditors to remove their claims so that the proceeds could go to the families of the victims. We were able to convince Slide Fire, the manufacturer of the bump stocks, to remove its creditors' claim.
So they had a bunch of creditors' claims versus the, I guess, against the, I guess Paddock or the estate of Paddock, and they talked everyone down into removing their claims so that they could sell the properties probably and get their money, including looks like Slide Fire had a claim against Paddock, which is interesting. That's weird, strange. I mean, he ruined their business, but I don't know. I don't know how they would claim money off of them, because they did sell them the product.
And probably most importantly, we were able to procure an anonymous donor who donated $63,000 to cover the value of the guns and for us to obtain the destruction and removal of 49 guns and firearms that were used in the shooting and were owned by the decedent.
So destroyed 49 firearms that were bought by somebody and bought for the destruction. I think she said $63,000 for all those. And yeah, whatever. I'm guessing that's part of this case here.
And we were able to have them destroyed and removed from public circulation, thereby ensuring that not one more person will die as a result of those guns. We are waiving our fees for services rendered in the approximate sum of $190,000 so that the estates of the victims will receive more funds.
So these lawyers were charging 90 grand and they're waiving that fee, I guess. That's all that was.
And Your Honor, we are here today to ask the court to approve.
What's up with that skirt, dude? Like, seriously, do they wear that in courts these days? Is that normal? I guess the guy next to her is wearing jeans, man. I guess it was casual day at the courthouse. That's weird. It's crazy.
The activities of the
While they zoom in on her ass. Great.
estate for the past 6 years, to approve the final payment to LVRJ of $6,353, to approve the cost advance by our firm of $13,543.91, and to order the payment of all the rest, residue, and remainder of the estate after the payment of administrative costs to the estates of the 61 victims who died as a result of the shootings.
So they're asking like 20 grand. I think they just asked for, I think what I'm understanding here, and she asked for like 6,500 or something towards the dude who's no longer alive, and some administrative costs of 14 grand. So they're asked about 20 grand to be taken out of that, which isn't really much considering it's 1 point, what'd you say, 1.5 or something.
The names of which have been submitted to you in camera.
Thank you, Mrs. And I had a question about these. I appreciate the fact that you were able to obtain, very thoroughly obtain contact information for all the representatives of the estates. Have you spoken to these representatives? Do you know if some of them are going, this is a nominal amount in the budget of 61 place. It's not intended in any way to compensate for the loss of these lives.
So the judge had a point there, and that's kind of part of this is she said this is a nominal amount considering the loss of life. But so you're gonna spread this, you're gonna hear, I think it's in this article, you're gonna hear 61. The count's up to 61 now.
However, it is a contribution from Mr. Caddick's survivors to the harmless.
And what's sad about it is there was more money in the GoFundMe that never got circulated, but at least allegedly never got circulated. I don't know.
So I appreciate the fact that that's been done. How are you planning to handle this? I mean, are some of them perhaps? Some of them may choose to forego it.
Your Honor, what we're going to ask the court to order today is that the persons and entities who have the identities of the personal representatives of these estates provide their names and addresses to us. We will then issue certified checks to the estates of the 61 victims.
So 61 victims, 61 right there. So there must be one that I hadn't heard of because I was hearing 60, but up until now.
And then they can do whatever there is an appropriate probate proceeding in their jurisdiction to distribute to the people who are the rightful heirs.
Are you going to be looking for receipts from these folks, or is it just up to them what they do with the check?
Your Honor, we're asking that the court accept in camera the copies of the certified checks that we're going to issue as receipts.
And then we can close the file.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's that in the process. Okay, well, thank you very much again, Mrs. Denton, for these efforts. I know that this was an incredibly burdensome matter for your firm, and you've made a very generous offer here to.
So then she just goes into this thing. That's pretty much the end of it. She goes into a thing where the judge is saying that, you waived your fees. The fees are acceptable for the time that was put into the case and all that sort of stuff, which doesn't matter because they waived them anyway. That's pretty much the end of that. But 61, that's the number we're at now, which I thought was something new that hasn't been said yet, really. Let's see. And then so that was from Review Journal website. But here's the stories I got up here. This was the one we just talked about. The questions remain about ex-con's friendship with Las Vegas mass shooter. Played that one. The last little stream that I did. What are they hiding? FBI redactions, and then Stephen Paddock's guns destroyed, land sold, hearing confirmed. I'm guessing that's the exact same, hearing that we just watched. This, I don't know what this is. That skirt, man, what the fuck? Let's see. So we got Attorney Alice Denton wanted to protect Las Vegas, and that meant making sure the guns used in the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history would never see the light of day. That does not protect Vegas, you dumb fuck. Those guns are going to end up all over the damn place, but whatever. It's gun grabbing stupidity. Her family-owned law firm took on the task of tallying the estate of Stephen Paddock, who opened fire from his hotel room in LA Bay on thousands of concertgoers October 1st, 2017, fatally shooting 60 people and injuring hundreds. See, we still got 60 on here. But she claimed 61, so not really sure. I mean, it can't be counting Paddock in that. I wouldn't think that would be foolish. So I don't know where the 61 comes from. Let's see, but what could have been a relatively straightforward process was, maybe she's just wrong. Maybe she just had it wrong. Maybe it is 60. What could have been a relatively straightforward process, complicated by 49 of the shooter's guns that were seized by the FBI, creating legal challenges that stretched the court case out over more than 5.5 years. There's been one hurdle after another, said Denton, who has worked in probate law in Nevada for 2 decades. Last week, she confirmed in a court hearing that guns have been destroyed or permanently seized by the FBI, clearing the way for money from the shooter's estate to be distributed to 61 families. See, 61. Don't know what that means. Yeah, I have no idea. Let's see. Denton took on the case pro bono, meaning her attorney fees will be deducted from the amount going to the families. Sure who Commissioner Justin Jones is. Spokesperson for Clark County confirmed Thursday that the county coroner's office official count of the number of victims is 60 to 58 people, or 58 people who died in the immediate aftermath of the shooting, and 2 other women who died from their injuries more than 2 years later. Las Vegas Review Journal has previously reported that a 61st death involved a suicide, but Denton said Thursday she did not know the exact cause of the person's death and could not name them. The list of victims was filed under seal in court documents. Look at complications after tracking down more than a dozen bank accounts, selling the shooter's property, and deducting taxes and administrative costs. There's nearly $1.3 million to distribute between families. That's not a lot of money considering it's 60 or even 61. That's not a lot of money at all, man. I mean, 1.3 million to one person is quite a bit of money, but after taxes, even that's not that big of a deal. I guess depending on where you're going with it, but Yeah. In probate law, which settles a deceased person's will and estate, money is typically distributed to whoever the deceased owed a debt. To the deceased heir. Paddock's mother was a sole heir because he died without a will. Was not married and had no children. Did he now? But in 2019, Paddock's mother signed away her rights to his assets. 2019, huh? Adam Hirsch, professor at University of San Diego's law school, who's taught classes on inheritance law for nearly 40 years, said probate cases will usually unfold quickly, but it's not unheard of for litigation to stretch the process on for years or decades. The estates of murdered crime victims aren't typically parties in probate law, since few predators of tragedies like Las Vegas mass shooting have any assets to distribute. It is not common, but it does happen, Hirsch said. The closest analogy to Paddock's estate, Hirsch said, is the multi-million-dollar estate of Jeffrey Epstein, a portion of which went to settlements for women who accused him of sexual abuse before his death. They're fucking attributing him to Jeffrey Epstein. That's fucked up. Let's see. Instead of striving, well, I guess not fucked up, but that's weird. Instead of striving for a notable or groundbreaking case, Denton said she took on Paddock's estate to help the victims and not Paddock's family. That was primary aspect of our involvement. We were not going to work for the shooter's family and get money for them, she said. Our whole goal was to ensure destruction of the guns and to get the money to the victims. In order to ensure the guns were destroyed, Denton had to rely on an anonymous donor paying 62 grand for the 49 guns that were recovered. Denton said the case was near an end in 2020 when the creditor claim was filed by Slide Fire Solutions, a company that manufactured the bump stock Paddock used to fire rounds at a rapid pace during the attack. The company, which was facing class action lawsuit from victims of the mass shooting, had argued that Paddock was to blame for the attack, not the bump stocks, and the company was entitled to money from the estate to pay for liability claims. Victims who had sued the manufacturer and MGM Resorts, which owns Mandalay Bay, had also petitioned to prevent Paddock's guns from being destroyed so that they could be preserved as evidence in the court proceedings. The lawsuit, what court proceedings? What are we talking about? I guess MGM's court proceedings. Lawsuit against MGM Resorts International reached a multi-million-dollar settlement in 2019. The destruction of the guns was one step closer in December 2021 when the Nevada Supreme Court ruled that gun manufacturers could not be held responsible for the deaths in the mass shooting. Wow. I mean, I guess that's kind of a gun grab thing, man. If you're going to blame the fucking manufacturers of guns for people doing stupid things with them. Let's see. Denton had to coordinate with the FBI, which wrote in court documents that 36 of the firearms were destroyed in November. The remaining 13 were kept by the agency for training purposes. Really? For training purposes? The fuck? The fuck you need these guns for? You got a million of them, dude. It's government. The fuck? Is that ATF too? No, the FBI. You got enough guns. What do you need those ones for? It's fucking weird. Hours of legwork. Let's see. Denton firm also relied prominently on prominent Las Vegas forensic accountant Larry Bursch, who was responsible for hundreds of hours of legwork in tracking down and selling the shooter's assets, Denton said. He coordinated the sale of Paddock's home, inventoried bank accounts, and even found gambling chips in the shooter's belongings that were cashed in. Wow. Burst gambling chips, right? Gambling chips. So this guy didn't just play video poker. You don't use chips to play video poker. So whatever. Burst died last week at 85 years old before he was able to see the completion of the case. It was Larry's hard work, professionalism, and dedication to the case that we have gotten here today, Denton said during the court hearing on April 20th. Denton said that Bursch had been hospitalized for weeks, and a member of her firm had to go to the hospital so he could sign final court documents in person. If they hadn't gotten the signature before Bursch died, the case could have drawn on for an additional 6 months. She and Bursch took on the case as a passion project, Denton said. She recalled how her friends and family were horrified in the aftermath of the mass shooting, including family members who were first responders night of the massacre. Denton said, what is this? Yeah, whatever. Denton said, taking the case pro bono was her way to help after tragedy struck her community. And she wanted to find as much money for the victim's family while protecting future generations. The primary goal of our office was to ensure safety of children. What? The people in Las Vegas and to get the guns destroyed. Safety of the children. Safety of the children. That's a stupid statement, but whatever. Whatever. You did a good thing. Congratulations. You got 1.3 million for 60 different people. So I guess it's something. It's better than nothing. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That is what it is. There's really not much else going on the Review Journal. Really not much. And of course, there's just a search under Stephen Paddock. God, I can't speak this morning. Or tonight. Yeah, it's this morning, technically. And I'm not going to go into this other Stephen Paddock's guns destroyed, land sold, hearing confirms. Don't care, because it's going to be the same regurgitated information. So that's about it. Just want to drop that out there in the ether. And yeah. So stay safe out there. Have a good day. And till next time.